Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here today. My name is Yvonne Okwara, and it is indeed my pleasure and honor to be your master of ceremonies today for the 12th Safaricom Sustainable Business Report launch. What a day it is going to be. This is going to be a report of how Safaricom is inculcating sustainable business practices throughout its value chain, and all of it aligned to Safaricom's vision of transforming lives, even as it aims to transform itself into a purpose-led technology organization by the year 2025. This is the basis for today's 12th Sustainable Business Report launch, and that is a pathway to a purpose-led technology company. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's a world of possibilities that is being presented, and not just for 2025, but beyond as well. I want you to walk with me so I can take you through what that purpose-led journey would be for 2025 and beyond. That pathway looks like this. It's being net zero by the year, and doing this by delivering clean energy and reduced emissions. That pathway is also about decarbonizing, and this is through digital technology, leveraging on innovation for a greener tomorrow. That pathway towards being a purpose-led company by the year 2025 is also about building a circular economy, ensuring that there is less waste, conserving resources. But it's also about diversity at the workforce, not just in the board, but throughout the workforce. And that is through inclusion that enables a purpose-led leadership. Not only that, it is also about making sure that the communities in which Safaricom works and serves are sustainable, investing in those communities, and of course a purpose to transform lives and ignite growth. And before I leave, there's also another one here that we want to showcase, and that is a pathway to good governance. And that is actually what drives everything, including creating digital tech societies. It's responsible practices at the core of Safaricom in the journey towards being a purpose-led technology company. So this is looking into the future now, isn't it? So allow me to show you what that future could possibly look like. Please come with me. I want to show you the immersive, sustainable future zone to take a look at what Nairobi, what the country, what the world could look like over the next couple of years. And we've talked about net zero by 2050. But ladies and gentlemen, let me show you what this city could look like. We're talking about a bustling city where you've got humanity, nature, and technology all coexisting together. Imagine it is possible in this city of the future. And this city of the future looks like this, ladies and gentlemen. Solar panels glistening on rooftops, and there's real and digital trees that are also side by side in that future city. Look at that. That is beautiful. And this, by the way, is not just an imagination of the future. It is definitely possible. A river of sustainable data flows. And this is all about clean energy and reduced emissions. You will see sleek electric vehicles gliding through those streets lined with trees. And of course, it's about building energy-efficient buildings. All of that within a diverse workforce that we have just talked about, exemplifying inclusivity for everybody, not just in the boardroom, but also in the communities. And as you venture deeper into this vision of what the future could look like, remember, it is clean energy-powered schools, vocational programs. It's about digital connections that embody creating digital societies as one of those that is at the heart of this. And at the heart of this city is a mural, of course, that stands tall. And it's all about sustainability, diversity, and showcasing responsible governance. Ladies and gentlemen, this city is more than just a dream. It's a commitment to innovation and sustainability coming together. And we invite you today with us this morning to join us on this journey as we unveil the vision for 2025, where passion and progress and purpose all come together, where Safaricom is leading the way towards a brighter and more sustainable future. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2023 Sustainable Business Report launch. Again, it is the pathway to a purpose-led technology organization. and it's about technology serving humanity. Speaking of technology, for the very first time, even for me, allow me to introduce you, ladies and gentlemen, to my co-host, my AI co-host for the day, Zuri.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zuri, Safaricom's official virtual assistant, and I will be co-moderator for today's session. Before we begin, may I say, Dr. Sheila Ochuboju, you are looking lovely in that Ankara outfit. Mr. Paul Russo as well, I love your blue tie. As you can see from the compliments I'm dishing out to our key stakeholders, I am indeed a very smart assistant. In staying consistent to our promise on diversity and inclusion, our sign language interpreters today are Irene Jemima Bundi and Fiona Mweresa. However, on a more serious note, allow me to therefore give some important guidelines for those following us online. Our hashtag for today is #Sustainable Safaricom. Please engage with us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and all other social platforms as we progress our discussion. We will have a Q&A session later in the program. Please share any questions you have for us via menti.com using the code 7400 5096. I will say that again, menti.com using the code 7400 5096. You can see these instructions on your screen now. To those in the room, we look forward to engaging with you as well as having an engaging conversation.
Indeed, thank you very much, Zuri. And for those of you who have never interacted with Zuri, today will be the start and hopefully something you can continue to do. Zuri, thank you. I'm looking forward to doing this together with you. As we take a leap into the future, into what is a purpose-led future, I'd like us to first take a step back and take a look at the 12-year journey of Safaricom Sustainable Business Reporting. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a look back at 12 years of Safaricom's Sustainable Business Reporting. ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a warm round of applause for an incredible 12 years journey. And like we said, sustainability is a journey. It is not a destination. It's been 12 great years of doing that, and there's many more to come. A journey, not a destination, and one that carries everybody along. It's not a competition. It is collaboration. It is not about who gets to the finish line first, because there is no finish line. It's all about the good for the communities in which we work and in which we serve. And so that is why here today, Safaricom has invited all of you who are like-minded leaders, businesses that are also taking part in sustainability in your various capacities. And we're very pleased to have you all here with us on this journey as we look ahead in that pathway towards becoming a purpose-led technology company. And speaking of that, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to put your hands together now for the bearer of that vision here this morning, the Chief Executive Officer of Safaricom PLC, Mr. Peter Ndegwa. Please put your hands together.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you got breakfast. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I was just making sure that my iPads and phones can work before I embarrass myself in front of everyone. But working for a technology company, you have to make sure you are using the technology that you market. So thank you, Yvonne. I have to say, Yvonne, I was saying to my colleague that you understand Safaricom so well. I think soon you'll join us as part of management. But anyway, that's by the way. I also wanted to complain about Zuri. Zuri did not recognize either the CEO or the chairman. I mean, that's not good. She should know who the employer is. Recognizing people like Paul Lusso, you know, nothing against you, Paul. Anyway, so let me start by acknowledging everyone who is present today. And welcome to Safaricom, welcome to the Michael Joseph Center, and welcome to the launch of our 2023 Sustainability Report. I want to start by acknowledging the guest speaker, Sheila Boju. Yeah, I hope that I pronounced that Nigerian name well. I lived in Nigeria a bit. I was telling her I know probably where she comes from based on the name. Who is the Executive Director of the Alliance for Science and will be speaking to us today. I also want to recognize the guests from the government's circles. We got regret from the CS, who is part of the cabinet meeting today. I also want to recognize the presence of the board led by our chair, Adil. I can see some of our board members, Winnie, Karen, Rose, and probably some others, of course, the management of Safaricom, fellow CEOs, colleagues, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am pleased to see many of you, and in the past 12 years, we have had this ritual of launching and actually showcasing the sustainability journey that we have been on, and which we have made significant progress. And today is another one of those where we will be looking at 2023 and seeing the progress that we have made. I want in particular to take the opportunity to recognize some of the CEOs of companies who have joined us this morning, from especially leaders from our partner financial institutions, and we'll talk about that, the reason why that is important, including, of course, my friend Russo, who has already been recognized by our assistant Zuri from KCB, Joshua Igara from Stanbic, Abdi Mohammed from APSA, Bilju, Sanraj Kar, who is the head of corporate and commercial and institutional banking at Standard Chartered Bank. I can also see the presence of Alan from Kenya Airways, and also Bwana Ali from MasterCard, and everyone else who is present. Please feel very welcome, and we are happy to share our experience. We are happy to get your input, and I'm sure from the panel that will be run later, you'll see one of the reasons why it is important to partner in this journey, because no one can do it alone. These leaders, especially from the financial services sector, showcase their support to Safaricom intent to running a sustainable business. And I'm sure when you listen to the recently announced sustainable linked loan that we have recently concluded, you'll see why it is so important to partner. So ladies and gentlemen, as you'll have seen from the video, we are firmly guided by our purpose of transforming lives, which is not just a lofty statement. It is a North Star. From the very beginning, even before we had sites across the country, we were serving community in various parts of our country. And there are 4 ways that we usually express that purpose of transforming lives. One is the way we design and deliver on our products, and how we combine the role of technology and innovation to solve societal and also customer challenges. Products such as Lipa Mdogo Mdogo, which is pay-as-you-go device to enable people who will not be able to access 4G devices to access them. Of course, the impact that the M-Pesa ecosystem has had. The second way we do it is through our 2 foundations. We have scalable programs that we deliver through our M-Pesa and also Safaricom Foundation, and we have a footprint across all the 47 counties. We invest in health, in education, in environment, and in economic empowerment, all supporting the whole SDG focus. We also empower communities with the right tools and technology, enabling them to fulfill their potential and also to transform their lives. We closely linked to this is our philanthropic support with the mantra of leave no one behind. In particular, we showcase this through the Dr. Zetu program, which we use to address societal needs by helping deserving Kenyans to achieve their dreams through applications that those Kenyans make to our Safaricom Foundation. The 4th area, so we do it through our products, we do it through our foundation, and we do it through support to Kenyans broadly, but also through being the biggest supporter of Kenyan societies, especially around sports. But the 4th area is our commitment, which is where we are here today, to transparency and accountability by publishing our operations and business activities. Today, we are releasing our 12th sustainability report. And we are very proud to showcase our commitment to transparency, to accountability, and credibility. So thanks to our sustainability-focused efforts, we recently announced something which is a first of its kind, the 15 billion sustainability-linked loan, which has been showcased across Africa and was announced during the climate summit that we recently had in Kenya. It is the first of its kind and the largest ESG-linked loan facility ever undertaken in this region. This funding will unlock our ability to create more diversified investment, supporting transformative investments in new technologies, in systems, and also in services that allow us to manage our ESG footprint more comprehensively and over the next few years, and actually allows us to meet the commitments that we have made in our sustainability report, as you'll see later. As you'll see in the report that will be showcased, we have boldly shared our environmental, social, and governance performance to stakeholders. We set targets, we measure those targets, we ask KPMG to audit independently, and then therefore we then publish them so that everyone can see. We believe that we are the stewards of environment, the champions of social equity, and also the proponents of ethical practices. Sustainability reporting represents our commitment, transparency, and accountability in these critical areas. Being accountable on the ESG ensures that we remain committed to our core of transforming lives. So as I close, and as I welcome you to this agenda today, we have witnessed firsthand the transformative power of leveraging technology to change lives. To create shared value, to drive positive change, and to develop solutions that address societal challenges at scale. We welcome more stakeholders and partners to collaborate with us to deliver on the United Nations SDGs. But more importantly, to scrutinize our business as we launch this report. We call on you to identify where we can do better, to hold us to account, to improve our operations, because we are all our customers, all our partners in our operations, and also to service our customers in the region continually. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to exploring these themes today and beyond. It's my pleasure to welcome and invite our chair, Adil, to give his remarks. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. Just takes a couple of seconds to get all ready and warmed up. Peter Zuri sent me an SMS. She's asking if she can have dinner with you tonight. Once again, good morning. My CEO, Peter, board members, fellow chairmen, respected captains of industry, some of whom are my very good friends sitting on the front, leaders of business, CEOs, Safaricom colleagues, members of the media, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the presentation of our 12th Sustainable Business Report. Our theme of this year's report is a pathway to a purpose-led technology company. It resonates with our unwavering commitment to leveraging technology, our platforms to connect people to people, opportunities, and information while we transform lives. This report sets out milestones for becoming a purpose-led technology company. It describes our actions, our opportunities, the challenges in empowering the tech ecosystem in Kenya and beyond, as we work to transform lives across every level of society, business and government. In a challenging year, we navigated significant headwinds and delivered exceptional outcomes, highlighting a forward-looking, innovative, integrated organization committed to transforming lives. We report our successes and setbacks transparently with a narrative supplemented by a 4-year data trend to provide relevant, material, and comparable information. In today's business landscape, sustainability has transcended its traditional association with environmental responsibility to become a comprehensive framework encompassing environmental, social, and governance considerations. Beyond mere compliance or corporate social responsibility, sustainability has become a strategic imperative, increasingly central to a company's long-term success. The Board of Directors ensures that sustainability is not just a buzzword, but a core element of our business strategy. I thank my board and the senior management team for leading the way. While historically boards may have focused primarily on financial performance and governance matters, the rapidly changing global landscape has necessitated a broader perspective. Just to this point, it was like 14 years ago we launched the other one. Yeah. So, I mean, every leading corporate has to now embed sustainability. To this end, we established an ESG committee at the board. It underscores our dedication to integrating sustainability into our business operations. This committee, comprising experienced directors, will ensure ESG factors are embedded in our decision-making, risk management, and long-term planning, advancing our mission of sustainable value creation to stakeholders present and future. We have made significant strides in diversity and inclusion. with 45% of our board being women and 40% of our senior leadership being held by women. This diversity is not just about gender, but also experiences, perspectives, and skills. It enriches our decision-making processes and improves business outcomes. By embracing sustainability, boards can steer organizations toward a financially robust, environmentally responsible, socially equitable, and ethically sound future. In doing so, boards can fulfill their fiduciary duty to shareholders, the broader society, the planet, and safeguarding the company's long-term prosperity and relevance in an ever-changing world. So what are our priorities, or what were our priorities in the financial year? Our priorities included strengthening corporate governance and transparency standards, ensuring sustainability remains at the core of our business. We acknowledge that our accountability to shareholders, customers, and stakeholders is non-negotiable. It's paramount. We have aligned our business strategy to these goals since 2016. Our commitment to the SDGs reflects policy, values, and our role in driving positive societal change. We will continue to integrate the Sustainable Development Goals into our operations and into our individual employee objectives. Our partnership ecosystem, our technological innovation, and our innovative products continue to address the societal challenges, fostering inclusive and economic development. We believe they are relevant, and we try to change as society changes. Like every journey, our journey hasn't been without its challenges. The rapidly changing technological landscape, regulatory shifts, and the evolving expectations of our stakeholders present and ongoing challenges. Financial year 23 presented numerous social economic challenges which we had to respond to with significant interventions, some with our partners. You will hear more about this from our Director of Sustainable Business, Karen Bassier. You will hear about our social impact, the foundations, and we will detail some of the interventions showing our dedication to being a responsible corporate citizen. Navigating these complexities while maintaining our commitment to sustainability has been a key focus for the board. In closing, I assure you of the integrity of this sustainability report, which is testament to our commitment to being a responsible corporate citizen. Our commitment goes beyond profit. It's about enabling progress, empowering individuals, and shaping a better future for all. At Safaricom, we are proud to be a catalyst for positive change in Kenya, Ethiopia, our region, and the rest of the world. As we work to transition from a leading telco to the #1 techco globally, we will continue to innovate, adapt, and work diligently to ensure that Safaricom remains a force for good, connects millions to financial services, empowering communities, and driving economic growth. Thank you. I will hand back to Yvonne now.
Thank you, Chairman Adil. Maybe this would be a good moment to give Zuri a moment to secure her job. Zuri, watch your words very carefully now. Say all the good things. Go.
I am shaking in my belly, but to be honest, your pink striped suit, Peter, left me speechless. But you know what? I wish you gave me the pin on your coat so I could be on brand as well.
Oh, okay.
Can I have that? Thank you very much, Chairman Adil. It is truly remarkable to see how deeply ingrained, but also well supported, the sustainability agenda is at Safaricom, both from a management and additionally board level. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of board members Karen Kandie, Rose Ogega, and Winnie Ouko. May I say, looking lovely this morning. Don't you agree, Yvonne?
I do, and well done, Zuri, even with all the board members. Now you're in for sure.
Thank you.
Now you're in for sure. So just so all of you know, you'll continue to interact with Zuri after this, right? Yeah, okay. So you've kept your job. Thank you very much, Zuri, for that. Indeed, you are right. Everybody in the room is looking lovely and vibrant. And, you know, as you said, Zuri, for any sustainability business to truly make an impact, it must be supported deeply at all levels of the organization, and that is what we have seen here. And also, you know, largely aligned with the vision of creating an impact, like the chairman said, not just in the country, not just in Ethiopia, but regionally and globally as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to introduce our chief guest here this morning, herself, a champion for sustainability. She leads an organization that is at the forefront of global advocacy on some frontier innovation that accelerates action towards achieving the sustainable development goals that we have all set for ourselves in this world. She is a lady of many firsts. In 2009, she was included in the first group of 20 inaugural TED Fellows. In 2021, she was recognized in Africa's 100 most influential women. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Alliance for Science, the Executive Director, Dr. Sheila Ochukboju. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Wow. Thank you so much. It's such an incredible honor to be standing here today. I want to thank you. I'm somewhat intimidated, excited, and I'm encouraged that I was invited to be a speaker in this event. I want to thank all the ecosystem of Safaricom for welcoming me to this platform. And I want to, first of all, just introduce myself a little bit on a personal level in terms of how I have intersected a little bit with Safaricom on this journey towards becoming a purpose-led technology company. So I first came to Kenya in 2009. Briefly went to Ghana for a number of years, then came back again in 2013. And at that time, when I came back, I was invited to be a judge of one of the Safaricom innovation competitions. But at that time, for those of us that have been in science and science communication, promoting technology and innovations, Safaricom is one of those beacon narratives that we use to say Africa is rising, to say there is opportunity, to say that you can look to this continent as an engine of change. So Safaricom was always the go-to story, the go-to company that was showing how a company was looking at its people, looking at the challenges and saying, how does technology help to find solutions that are real on the ground, not just offer products that somehow people have to integrate into their lives. So now when I've looked at the timeline, I realize how much I've been journeying at different points with this journey towards becoming a purpose-led company. When I was in the green room, waiting to come and feeling a little bit, wondering, am I really in the right place with all these captains of industry and business? I was talking to one of the partners there, and a question was asked. Interesting question. The question was, is science overrated? And I said, oh, that's an interesting question. I said, no, science is not overrated. I lead an organization called Alliance for Science, and what we do is science communication on frontier technologies. And we need to do that, because before the public take up any of the technologies that the inventions and innovations, they have to have an understanding, they have to know where it sits in their life, they have to believe that there's a need for it. So the work that we do is creating an enabling environment for uptake of these technologies, and we try to do it a little bit ahead of where the products are coming. So we talk a lot about gene editing, we talk a lot about synthetic biology, we talk a lot about AI and how it intersects with some of the development challenges, and we try to get people to see and interlink the global challenges to science and innovation. And our strapline is Science for Humanity. So I was very interested in hearing the strapline technology for humanity. Science forms the foundation for technology, and then upon that, innovations are built. So when you look at the challenge, you hear sustainable business, and it's normal now to hear those words linked, sustainable business. But actually, it's kind of a new linkage. It's kind of a new linkage in terms of meaning, and it's a new linkage in terms of how it's showing up in practices, how it's showing up in products, and how it's showing up at how the world is understanding the role that businesses have in helping us reach our global goals. So it's a new thing. And then when we as communities of scientists and technologies and innovators look at how the general public is seeing innovation, we have to recognize that there is a challenge at certain points. When companies like Safaricom come into being and they innovate and they bring products, you get about 2.5% of the population who are innovators and early adopters. They're like, oh, that sounds really good, you know, and they begin to think about it. Takes a little bit longer, you get another few visionaries and thought leaders who also adopt it. But then there is a kind of a gap between that to where you get an early majority, which is about 34% of the population, and then a mass majority uptake of a technology. And that gap is where you need that leap. That's the challenge to make the leap from an innovative idea to a few people adopting it to then the normalization of a technology and its usage. There's a gap. So how do you bridge that gap? And Safaricom has shown it, and this report really illustrates the three things that it takes to make that leap. It's actually a leap of faith. And to make that leap of faith across the chasm where a technology can die and really never come to life, you need three things. You need vision, you need ambition, and you need courage. And you've seen it a little bit in the introduction. You need to be able to articulate, where do we want to be as a people? How do we want to live? And how does technology underpin that? So I was so excited to see an articulation of what is the Nairobi of the future going to look like? How are we going to live? And then once you begin to see that, you begin to position yourself in that place. And you begin to say, okay, I think I want to get there. How do I get there? What would my life be like? And what kinds of technologies will I be using? Then you need ambition. So for the ambitions the huge global ambitions that we have in terms of SDGs and the targets that we have, you need the data to know whether you're on the right track, whether you're really making the journey or whether it's a pipe dream. And so that's one of the things that business does very well, businesses like Safaricom does very well, and it's the place where businesses like Safaricom and technology companies can work with development organizations such as ours and others in the room. Taking data and telling the story of where are we on this journey to this future that we want. And in Alliance for Science, we very much focus on looking at the SDGs in perhaps 3 tiers. So you look at the 4 SDGs that form the foundation of life on Earth. So how do you have a healthy biosphere upon which society is built, upon which you now can have prosperous economies and give us those futures? You need to look at how you're taking care of life on land, life underwater, how you're looking at climate actions. Those SDGs that are foundational are the ones that scientists are working on to make sure we have a healthy planet, to even have cities, to even hope for gender equality and better lives, etc. And then upon that, captains of industry can begin to say, okay, as we are generating wealth, how can we do it responsibly? How can we make sure that we are not polluting our planet? How can we leave a legacy for the future that our children can do things that we couldn't even imagine? So I was so thrilled to get a first glimpse into the Sustainable Business Report, because I saw courage in saying, okay, 2025, we're going to meet some ambitious targets. 2025 is really just around the corner. It's a short space of time. And when I saw that target, and I was thinking about, we are lamenting about, can we even reach the SDGs? It's 2030, 7 years. The Pope yesterday made a very strong statement about how disastrously close we are to collapse if we don't take this challenge seriously. So there are those who are looking at 7 years and saying, 7 years is not enough time for where we need to get to. And yet, there are those who are setting targets, who have the courage to say, 2025, we're going to do a few things that will help us accelerate action towards the future that we want. So I want to commend Safaricom for embedding meaning into the words of sustainability and embedding it within business practices, and then linking it so clearly to a narrative of global challenges and goals, and inviting partners such as ourselves and others in the room to say, technology is not our savior. Technology is not our God. Technology is one part of a solution that is going to help us all get to a better place. And in conclusion, I want to also share a little bit of the conversation that I had before we came out. We were talking about money, and I've been thinking a lot about, especially when we look at climate action, there's a lot of talk during the climate summit, which we were part of. We created a climate action zone. There was a lot of talk around finance. Do we have enough money? We need to double the finance for globalized, it's hundreds of billions. I mean, the numbers become so huge that they cease to have meaning. And at that stage, you begin to think, wow, it's never going to happen. But I was on a panel with a visionary thinker from the African Development Bank, and he said, it's actually never about money. Money is not the issue, because money moves in certain directions. It moves in terms of need, it moves in terms of capacity, and it moves where there's opportunity. So it's not about money, because there's enough money. It's about how does it flow, and how does it distribute, and how does it place itself in areas where it can be really catalytic at the right time. So you don't have to worry about the numbers in terms of the money. If you understand the purpose for the money, if you understand the meaning, and if you can see when the money gets there, what would the world look like because it did something, then you can create a change. So I was really thrilled to hear about Safaricom again in the first with the sustainability linked loan, and just generally businesses looking at things like green bonds. We were working with the Kenya Green Building Society during the climate summit, and we had a whole day looking at sustainable development, green bonds, and investments in infrastructure, and how that can transform lives. So I'm so thrilled to know that here is a company that is not looking at the bottom line in terms of numbers, is looking at the bottom lines in terms of transformation, and trying to work with others to say, let's co-create a vision for that transformation that will have meaning and will take us all somewhere where we will recognize in the very near future. Thank you.
Another round of applause for those very thoughtful remarks from our chief guest. And I just want to reiterate what you said, Dr. 𝐶𝐄-𝐃𝐿, that we can throw technology at it, We can throw money at it. But if it's not purpose-led, then it's all for nothing. And that's what Peter Ndegwa and the team at Safaricom are all about, a purpose-led technology organization. Even in areas of health, I mean, you know, it's been technology that's driving that, whether it's access to records, enabling people to pay for healthcare, investing in maternal healthcare itself. Safaricom has been at the forefront of that. Purpose-led, and it's a pathway to a purpose-led organization by 2025. In 2 years, it is definitely possible. And you know, like you mentioned, there's been a great call to action and there's great concern amongst many around the world. We set those ambitious targets. We've got 7 years to go. Are we there yet? How do we accelerate action? That was actually the topic of conversation at the United Nations General Assembly. And I'd now like us to just listen to the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, on that, what we need to do in the 7 years we have left up until 2030.
So the SDGs aren't just a list of goals. They carry the hopes, dreams, rights, and expectations of people everywhere. And they provide the surest path to living up to our obligations under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, now in its 75th year. Yet today, only 15% of the targets are on track, and many are going in reverse. Instead of leaving no one behind, we risk leaving the SDGs behind. So, Excellencies, the SDGs need a global rescue plan.
Indeed, a global rescue plan. Only 15% of the targets that have been met. I did promise some interaction, and I want to hear from you in the room now. What you think that rescue plan could look like? What sort of commitments should we be making? On a personal note, because many of you are leaders and you drive the agenda in your organizations, and what your organizations are willing to do, what global citizens should be willing to do. I think we've got some mics going on in the room. I just want to take a couple of comments as to how we do this. Can we have a microphone here at the front? Here at the front. Come. Because it's 2030, folks. The clock is ticking. Yes, here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's really interesting hearing, Sheila. I think you've hit a lot of notes, and we in boardrooms are feeling that the voice of the youth echo as a passion in the boardrooms. And you know, I represent MasterCard, and we found a very unique way on delivering on SDGs, because we believe that the control needs to reside with the end customer. And something we worked with Economy in the Nordics, where we have delivered a carbon calculator. So no matter where you spend, whichever form factor, it calculates your carbon footprint and then tells you at the end of the day that if you were to offset that footprint with planting of trees, well, that's at your fingertips. You can simply offset whatever is your monthly carbon footprint by planting the relevant trees in a verified, certified, with an entity who takes care of not just the trees, but maintaining the full end-to-end life cycle of that tree. So it's really interesting how we have to intersect between customer behavior, customer awareness, customer and corporate responsibility, but at the end of the day, give the power to the end customer. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that's remarkable. I want to just throw somebody else into this conversation, and she's the lady who leads the organization that lead Kenyan companies on the sustainability journey. Judy Njino is here with us, the Executive Director of UN Global Compact Kenya. 7 years to go. She's right here, this side. 7 years to go, and he says a lot more needs to be done. What can we do?
Yeah, thank you, Yvonne. And indeed, we are not in good shape as a global community. And so what we are asking for from the UN Global Compact is scale and ambition. So all the good things that companies are doing that are incremental in nature are no longer enough. So we are asking companies to have bold visions, similar to what we are seeing with Safaricom, to really stretch that level of ambition in how they're actually driving their commitments around corporate sustainability, and actually those that are tied to the delivery of the Sustainable Development Goals. And so for us at the Global Compact, we are available to support companies with unique programming that is helping them to scale, but also to align their corporate strategies with those goals that we think could be the game changer to helping us get back on track. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you. And thank you for the good work that you do in that respect. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to now, we're talking about scaling, right? And one of the things about scaling is also putting your money where your mouth is as organizations. So you're making profits. Yeah, do you want to put some money to that? You're making profits. You are succeeding in that respect. But how much are you willing to put into it? And so that is exactly what happened with Safaricom just a few months ago. And both the chairman and the CEO have talked about it. A first for Safaricom, in conjunction with a consortium of banks, the largest in East Africa. Safaricom recently secured a 15 billion shillings sustainability-linked loan. Now, I know there's many terminologies that come in with all of this. That's why I have my smart assistant. Zuri, you're the smart one in the room. So help us understand this. New territory, new terminology. Zuri, what is a sustainability-linked loan?
As always, I'm glad to be of service, Yvonne. A sustainability-linked loan is a unique loan where the interest rate is tied to a borrower's sustainability performance, specifically tailored to their ESG targets. Meeting these targets leads to reduced interest payments. This loan will reinforce Safaricom's commitment to environmental, social, and governance initiatives. For Safaricom, trying this loan to sustainability speaks to our purpose of transforming lives and ensuring sustainability is at the heart of everything we do.
Thank you, Zuri. That makes it a lot easier to understand. I knew you'd have the answer to that. Stay with me, Zuri, because I want us to now introduce our panel that unpacks this a lot further. And this panel is of business leaders, CEOs, who have taken the bold step to make this happen and who are all putting their money where their mouth is. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to call up on stage our panelists today, beginning with Birju Sangrachka, who's the head commercial, corporate, and institutional banking from the Standard Chartered Bank of Kenya. Please give him a warm round of applause.
Standard Chartered Bank played a pivotal role as the global coordinator, sustainability coordinator, and mandated lead arranger for the deal. This deal is also aligned to Standard Chartered sustainability focus, which aims to connect capital at scale to sustainable development opportunities in developing markets. The bank has committed to mobilize 300 billion USD by 2030 in sustainable finance to aid the transition to net zero around the world.
Thank you for that, Zuri. Next up is Paul Russo, who is the Chief Executive Officer of KCB Group.
Kenya Commercial Bank acted as the mandated lead arranger for the transaction. KCB's approach to sustainability is a three-pronged approach. KCB looks at eco-efficiency through their green agenda. Ensuring performance is looked at holistically through their sustainability reporting, and finally, through their policies and procedures, hence embedding responsible lending across their portfolio.
And from Stanbic Bank, Kenya, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joshua Oigara, the Chief Executive Officer.
Stanbic served as an arranger on the sustainability-linked loan. Additionally, Stanbic recently released its 2022 sustainability report. In it, Stanbic has identified some key impact areas and set goals for the next 3 years, with green financing representing 10% of total book by December 2023, ensuring 30% of procurement spend is allocated to marginalized group, women, youth, SMEs, by 2025 and setting up a climate risk framework by August 2023.
And from Absa Bank Kenya, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Abdi Mohammed, Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director.
Absa served as an arranger on this facility. Through its focus on sustainability, Absa Bank strives to be a force for good by making a difference in its communities. Absa are deploying 6 billion Kenya shillings across sustainable investments, financing, and their operation activities to help accelerate climate transition and advance inclusive growth by 2025.
And last but certainly not least, from Safaricom PLC, ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Finance Officer, Dilip Pal.
Safaricom is the organization around which this entire transaction was built, showcasing our commitment to delivering on our ESG ambitions. As we said earlier, Dilip is putting his money where his mouth is, and we are happy to see a corporate finance chief take the lead when it comes to sustainable funding.
That is right. Ladies and gentlemen, my panel this morning, as you can see, leaders in their own right, engaging in sustainability within their organizations, and that is why they're all here today. We're going to talk about this sustainability-linked loan and indeed where we go from here a little bit deeper. Dilip, I think the best place is to begin with you. So we've seen and understood at least what that sustainability-linked loan is about. Only 15% of the targets have been met, like we heard from the UN Secretary General. So in your view, what are some of the immediate steps that can be taken by businesses to get us back on track with the goals?
Thank you, Ivan.
There is a mic. There we go.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you, my co-panelist. And so I used to say this when I joined in November 2020. The bankers are always used to come to us saying that you have so much of money in your bank accounts, give us the deposit. And things have changed. As we speak now, we are the one going to them, and I'm very happy to see all of them here today in this panel. So let me start by saying that targets, I think we heard about target setting, right? So there is this saying, you deliver what you measure. Now, you cannot measure what you don't target, right? So we were there in the UN week, and I think one of the current consideration which is coming again and again saying that 2030, when we started in 2015, 2030 looked a long horizon. There's a lot of time to do what you need to do. Similarly, we are halfway through in 2023, looks like it's still 7 years left, right? So there is a lot can be done. But I think what is required, setting those targets, break it down by year, and make sure that you measure it. And towards that, what I feel is very important, which is what Safaricom has done extremely well, is putting this as part of the core strategy. So strategy without purpose is meaningless. So you start with the discussion of strategy, what is your purpose, what you want to do. So therefore, if it is part of your core strategy, if you have the targets, you measure it. You measure it the way you look at your financial outcome. As a CFO, if I'm looking at revenue, obviously you're looking at the profitability. But if you have the targets for sustainability, you're also looking at those achievements. I think that's something that we take a lot of pride, and all of us can do that. Third element is, to my mind, is the advocacy. In our own way, there is local, national, and international. There is a lot that can be done to make sure that the needs is understood. I think sometimes acceptance is there, but the action is still not there. So the advocacy will help to create that awareness and to create that also the people who have to take certain decisions. Then I will say digital transformation for the business. I think this is a buzzword. Everybody is doing digital transformation. And this area is also, there is no end. There is no finishing line. I think we need to just continue doing what we are doing. And there are challenges in this area. But digital transformation will ensure that you reduce waste, you bring in efficiency, and therefore there is a lot, the business, you make business more sustainable. And last but not the least is what we are doing today. I think report, audit, validation, all goes a long way in terms of building credibility. You know what, the stakeholders can trust you when you see this report and which are audited, and obviously when it's audited, it has got a lot more credentials. So I would say good progress, but a lot can be done. I think those who are here in this room, I think many of you are part of that. But can you make sure that the organization is actually within the organization is embedded in a way you are not looking at sustainability differently than running the business the way you do, which is what drives Safaricom.
Yeah, thanks for that. At the core and being purpose-led and reporting, which I always say is a very vulnerable moment for an organization. You say, these are the challenges, these are the goals we set, and this is how we have, the achievements we've made towards performing those. So sustainable finance, that's what we're hearing. It is the game changer. Birju, tell us what the sustainability finance market looks like. And while you do that, there is sustainable financing, there's green financing, there's sustainability-linked bonds, there's ESG bonds. So as you break that down for us, also just tell us what the market for this looks like.
First, good morning all, and thank you to Safaricom and the board for having us here today. The other thing is, Yvonne, thank you. We were at an event last week where you paneled, and you have no paper today, so thank you.
I'm getting better at it.
I will take it back to my seat.
Oh, good, thank you.
But so let's take a step back. I can give you the ChatGPT version of what sustainable finance is. But fundamentally, you have financial goals and you have ESG goals. And every company or business will look at it potentially separately. Sustainable finance seeks to tie the two together and have an incentive to tie the two together. So, you have traditional finance and then you have sustainable finance. Sustainable finance then comes in and sort of tries to tie the two and has an incentive or a penalty for not doing what you say you're going to do. Within sustainable finance, you think about the purpose of sustainable finance. It's to drive economic development, but at the same time address challenges like inequality or climate change, etc. And within that, then you have tools. You have tools, and these are the products we call sustainable loans, sustainable linked loans, sustainable bonds, green bonds, blue bonds. I mean, you can go on and on and on. But remember, there's only two things at the bottom of every sustainable finance. It's either activity-based or it's behavior-based. And what that means, so take a green bond or a green loan. Activity-based means it is the proceeds of the financing are used to directly fund a green project, so a solar plant, renewable energy, etc. Behavior-based, and this is now where the sustainability-linked loan comes in, is it rewards or penalizes a company for doing what they set out to do in their ESG journey. In Safaricom's SLL case, sustainability-linked loan case, they're looking at things like digital inclusion, reducing the amount of emissions in the network. It's the financing is tied to them achieving what they set out themselves to achieve. And we can go on. I mean, some of it is a little bit more nuanced in the sense that we did a very large transaction in the Middle East where the company's objective was primarily to get more women on their board. And what they said is, if we don't do it, you penalize us by charging us more. So they're willing to do that, and warts and all show how well or how badly they're doing. And then the last one is Scope 3 emissions. So every company deals with Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions, and they're more easy to deal with because you can control them to an extent. Scope 3 is your supply chain, and 70% of your emissions are coming from your supply chain. And if there's a way we can do, say, supply chain financing as financiers that help companies, suppliers, alleviate some of their carbon emissions, electric vehicles, etc., then you start dealing with Scope 3 emissions. So again, there's very many ways to cut sustainable finance. And why we're excited as Standard Chartered is because it is one area where finance is a very boring place. There's very little innovation in finance. but it allows us to innovate as best as we can.
Yeah, and it's fascinating to hear and see 15 billion shillings that has been put together by all of you who are here on this stage today. The issue of access is one, whether you're talking about financing in general or particularly sustainable financing. Joshua, how do we make this work for African markets, sustainable financing?
Thank you very much, Yvonne. First is to thank Peter. I've been following this journey for a long time, and the chair since 2011. But let me say that the questions, and Dr. Ojo mentioned it very clearly, it's not a question about lack of financing. There's a lot of, and it's good to have the financials here. Because sometimes a lot of Controllians speak a lot of stuff that they don't fund from financing for this project. So all of us seated here work very collectively, and I must thank Safaricom for reimagining what is possible from the lenders, from financiers. It's not a question of capital. I mean, as a bank like Standard Bank and us have got $1 trillion shillings available for sustainable lending on the continent. That's more than $5-6 billion. But you need people to reimagine the ambition, correct? What kind of actions you want to do in the vision, and the courage to have the business run in a manner that's sustainable. That is what the lack is. So the kind of contrary statements you get, Yvonne, are always like, financials are not ready, correct? But you're not going to ask financial to tell you, we are available. So we thank Safaricom for catalyzing this kind of ambition and showing what is possible. It's significant, correct? People talk about the complexity of structuring. The team that is available here can structure any kind of structure that you need. And a lot of people misunderstand that sustainable finance is about climate change. A lot of it is about your own energizing your business, changing your profile, classing your customers, getting your products. That's how you build sustainability in your own DNA of your organization. And I think those kind of way you must demystify the model. So when Antonio Guterres talks about the gap is about the envisioning, is about the ambition set. Generally, capital flows to the milestones that are being set. So the challenge is not going to be the financials, actually. And so we salute, and Safaricom has been this eclectic catalyst, and I always say a convener that is able to driving this journey. And that's why for us, we launched a sustainability report just a few weeks back. So my answer is that of the $194 billion, that availability will arise on the continent, no doubt. What we lack is to have more people coming to the table and say, this is what we want in our business. And business has a bigger role to play. And actually the challenge for Peter is not about looking in the past. Because 12 years later, you can see the dreams of 2011, the scaling of the business. We've gone through massive crises on the continent. There's a COVID challenge, the global geopolitical challenges we face, climate change issues we face, but suddenly you're building through those kind of challenges to grow and progress. So what I would say in summary is that as a team, and many times it's very easy to see that many lenders and this group can come together to structure any kind of transaction that you need to build your enterprise, to go towards sustainable goals. And that's what we can assure. So the concern I want to leave you, listening to us today, is not that you have, lenders are always ready to migrate. And that's why a lot of our resources now are committed to supporting Safaricom and the team towards their ambitions. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Joshua, because you talk about ambition. You say financing is there, but now it's also up to the organizations to now say, how can we use this to power our organizations towards the future? And that's what I want to hear from you, Paul. Then, for those who are here and watching us both here and online, what are you looking for in investors and stakeholders when it comes to sustainable financing? What will you be looking for, Paul? It's on. It's on.
Okay, thank you. Allow me to say two things before I answer that question. One is to thank Peter and the team. Peter, I know you don't like my tie, but it's fine. It's okay. And the second question is, the second point is to thank the chairman of Safaricom, and Joshua, who are the teams that led the setup of the sustainable agenda for KCB. So mine is actually sitting here is to demonstrate more ambition rather than setting to do anything. So thank you for the tailwinds. I think it's always important to do that. I think there'll be three pillars that I would say I would look at. And the first pillar, I bracket that around people, technology, and partnership. The second pillar is around, in my view, governance, policy, and process. And I would say the third one is the transparency and reporting. If you get those right as an institution, I think you can have a meaningful conversation, in my view, with a financial. And let me just try quickly and break down what I mean with that. I think you look at the credibility of the people that are running that institution and how intentional they are in terms of driving a purpose for that. So in all the discussions we've had today earlier on, you can see an alignment on people, both board and management of Safaricom, are being intentional about sustainability. Therefore, you'll have to look at that. The second bit is deploying technology and investments to be able to bring to life that sustainability. Again, very real for Safaricom. It has to be real for all of us. But the third one, and Yvonne, I think you put it correctly, in that pillar, is you can't do it alone. So how do you mobilize? How do you become the catalyst to bring everybody else, not just to try and push for a finish, and as you say, there's no finish, but how do you get people to take the first step? I think if you go look at the team that is working on the UN Global Impact, the question is, why are we few in that team? And yet there's so many corporates. So we've got to collectively work together, more like in the Bible, convert one at a time. And that is about that partnership element. Then you've got the second pillar is about governance, both policy and process. It's one thing to have governance, but it's another thing to just put in processes and you follow that. Anchoring that both on how your boards are set up and how you comply. And the third of that pillar, as I said, is transparency and reporting. And Peter said, opening up yourself to a third party to be able to attest and to be able to give an independent view, because bankers have a habit of saying, I see your numbers, but let me see another person's opinion, and let me just take it to that person. So I'd put it in those probably three buckets, or there about 5 or so points. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's interesting that you say that in terms of organizations as well. So SMEs have been identified as the biggest drivers of growth, especially building back better from the COVID-19 pandemic. And I just want to hear from you, Abdi, on SMEs and how they can make themselves attractive for sustainable financing. What do they need to do? Because this is a space also in which you are very passionate about.
Thank you very much, Yvonne, and thank you, Peter, for the invite. Great story, great conversation. When I heard about the purpose-led, it's echoes of what we discuss in APSA all the time as well. And, the chief guest, when she spoke, used a very powerful word, which is ecosystem. And this is an ecosystem. It's about partnership. It's about working together. And I think the era when everybody did what they do within their verticals and tried to combine at the top is gone. I think we are in an era of partnership and working together. I think, Yvonne, coming back to the question, we talk about the large, complex deals like the one we've just done with Safaricom that are sustainability linked. But increasingly, the world is also looking about solving the problem on a wider scale. And there are many, many SMEs out there in Africa, in our own country, that are very much focused in this journey that we are on and how we achieve it. And in that respect, there are a number of aspects that you look at. One is really just awareness, education, and support. And from an APSA perspective, and I've seen many of the partners in the market do the same as well. We spend a lot of time on that partnership and working together and creating awareness and working across, a number of partners. The other one is the funding itself. The likes of Safaricom, we sometimes queue up to fund Safaricom, right? But the ordinary SME that is out there requires support in terms of just preparing their case, preparing their business case to ensure that they are ready for funding and support. And the experience we've had is there is a lot of willingness. I sit on the UN Global Compact board, and one of the areas that Judy and the team are looking at is how to have more SMEs come into that as well, and how we ensure we are partnering across a much wider base of businesses, rather than just a few corporates. So the way I'll summarize it, Yvonne, is I know there is a lot to be done. We had the General Secretary's speech on the SDGs, but Kenya has also made a lot of progress. The Global Compact chapter that we have in Kenya is the best in Africa in terms of membership, in terms of drive and what we are doing there. And there is a lot of good progress that is being made. But I think the SME sector is going to be really central to the answer that we provide. And it's a combination of funding, ensuring that the funding is being provided at the right cost, because it has to be sustainable for the SME as well, and technology. And this is where what Safaricom is doing, what the banks are doing, all the fintech community that we work with in this country, all comes together, because it provides you with the reach so that you're able to reach more customers. It also provides you with the right cost structure that makes it sustainable, so that all the partners within the ecosystem find that from their own profit and financials perspective, it is sustainable. So that's what we have to work on.
Indeed, that's very important. I want to just remind all of you that keep your questions, comments at hand. We'll be coming to that in a moment. For those of you who are joining us online, please go on to menti.com. That's menti.com. Use the code 74005096. That's 7400 5096. Drop your questions or comments. We'll be coming to that in a moment. Abdi, you've talked about making sure that this is available to the SMEs. So Birju, let's get into that. How do organizations then access this sustainable linked loan? And what do you think made Safaricom a good partner for this?
So let me start with the second question first. So, I mean, everyone said it. Safaricom is a beacon for the country. The customer base is a large proportion of the population. And if Safaricom does something, they have the ability to have a catalytic effect on large portions of society. So that's a given. Quick story. 2007 was a very exciting time for this country. I'm not talking about the disputed election. What I'm talking about is two very material things happened. One, Safaricom talks about quite a lot, which is the M-Pesa launch, and we all know how that went. The second one is the eastern seaboard of Africa didn't have any submarine fiber, and we all relied on satellite. I was part of a team that advised on the team's cable that came in, and we didn't know whether it would sell. The only data we had was Philippines and India to show data usage before and after a cable came in. Safaricom had the courage to take a large punt in that, an equity stake in that project, and the rest is history. Silicon Savannah, the fintechs, everything that's come up. In fact, the chair was also involved in that in his day job in that project many years ago. But that's the ethos of Safaricom. They're willing to take courageous bets. Some will work, some won't, but they've been quite lucky. Everything seems to be working out for them. But that's why we like it. We like it because you can try new stuff with Safaricom. They will come in with an objective mind. And within their organization, they make it work. And when they don't, they're very open. You can see in the sustainability reports over the last 12 years, they're very open to say, this hasn't worked, we'll course correct. We like Safaricom in that regard.
Okay.
So that was... Thank you. The first question, sorry, if you just want to just...
So, which is how we get access to this loan.
Okay, so everyone's talked about it in different shapes and forms. It's mindset, it's intent, and it's execution. Mindset being, as a company, first, you've got to say, what do I want to do? And it's simple. Do I want to do more good, or do I want to do less harm? Obviously, you want to do both. More good means things like let's have more women in our workforce, etc. Let's reduce inequality. Do less harm is tackle emissions, for example. So the mindset has to be there from a company. Second one is intent, and everybody here again talked about it. Transparency. Are you willing to say, I am where I am. I'm in a pretty bad shape right now. I need to do X, Y, and Z to get better. So, and we will be held accountable to it. So transparency and accountability, that's the intent. And the last piece is execution. How are you going to go about doing this? And that's where now the SLLs or the sustainable finance comes in, and you partner with organizations like the ones represented here in this room as well to deliver that for you. Finance is an output, right? If you get the inputs right, the output will follow.
Indeed, that's an interesting one. Again, a reminder, menti.com. Log on to that. It's 7400 50 96. That's the code. And then we can, get this understanding a little bit better. And it's, like you said, it's inputs and what's your purpose and intent. And the team at the UN Global Compact also helps with just refining that then perhaps enables organizations to then come to you and say, okay, this is what we want to do. And this is the support that we need with this sustainability-linked loan. All of you sitting here are champions of sustainability in your own right. So I just want to take this moment to understand what this is, because today we're talking about sustainability, not just for Safaricom, but for Safaricom's partners, which you are. So let me start with you, Paul, in terms of your sustainability. Congratulations, by the way. KCB was named Best Bank in Sustainable Finance by the Kenya Bankers Association. That was last year. Well done. So what are some of the challenges and lessons you've learned along the way?
No, thank you. And it was good that I mentioned Chairman.
You did well to do that, yeah.
As well as Joshua, because that weight is down to the work that was done 14 years ago. I think first we find ourselves, at a certain point with institutions that have history. So there is an entry point at any time. So you will have legacy, particularly banks. So you'll see that we've committed about greening the book, but you find yourself at a certain point. You've got to make a bold move to cut it off, saying, I'll deal with the backlog, which means going back and greening that book, but I'm also going to be intentional about what I book downstairs. Now that, unless the leaders in this room believe otherwise, that is a big challenge. Because at the end of the day, they still push for profitability, and how do you balance that delicate? Yeah. And that's why we say it's not one or the other, it's both. So how do you balance that and be intentional about that? And because I come from the human capital point of view, how do you embed that in performance management? Because you're sending people out there with certain objectives and deliverables. And then you've got this commitment that you've made at the leadership point of view, which brings me to the point of transforming culture. Aligning the entire institution is a big challenge. And for me, I actually think it's one single most, big challenge. As we said earlier on, getting money to do it, getting subject matter experts to do it can be a bit of a challenge, but we've got fairly good subject matter experts in this country and in the region that we operate in. It is aligning the institution and being intentional about it, and which brings in the culture element.
Abdi, the organization you lead aims to be a driver for good in the communities you serve. What change do you purpose to drive in the next few years?
I think it starts, first of all, with embedding this into the purpose. So the organizational purpose needs to have this as a very central point of view. I think banks are coming from a time when sustainability was, there was the financial reporting, your financial performance, and then you had appendices which had your sustainability agenda. And we are now moving to a point where it's a critical part of the strategy. And for us, we're driving, as you mentioned earlier, the whole SME agenda. There is a gender component there as well. So women-led SMEs is a big piece of what we are working on. The whole climate agenda, not just in terms of working with the large corporates like Safaricom, but also working with a lot of players that are involved in solutions that are off-grid, clean energy, and so on. And there's a lot of work that we are doing in that space as well. There are internal targets around gender balance in the board, in the executive, and overall in the bank, which is currently 50-50, and we're working on that as well. So there is a lot to be done. I feel that some progress has been made, and we should not lose sight of that. In fact, the debate we were having in the UN Global Compact the other day is, yes, there is the global concerns around where we are on the SDGs, but we should have data that is a lot more specific to us locally as well, so that when we are doing something well, we actually celebrate it and put it out there. And I think the work Safaricom has done in this space is really worth celebrating and really quite inspiring. Yeah,
Thanks for that, Abdi. And like you mentioned, sustainability reporting is one of those ways. Joshua, you recently launched your sustainability report, and you've identified, digital, technology as an avenue to advance opportunities. Why?
So let me say, Yvonne, maybe just to answer the question differently. So we are following in the footsteps of Safaricom 12 years ago. So we respect the value of the anchor. The first launch we did just this year. But I want to say just two things which are important for us. How do we reflect? And this is a question that Ojo you raised earlier. The challenge we face on the continent, really, for us, is less ambitions. I mean, we celebrate less ambitions. So when I see Peter saying 2025, we're becoming a sustainable tech company, it looks short. But sometimes we over-celebrate in the continent, small objects, smaller dreams. And that's always the crisis. And I know it may not sound right, but that's exactly the message we send on the Africa Climate Summit. You need much more ambition. So when you set up bigger dreams, and I'm sure they worry Peter every single time, 2025 is not less than 30 months from today. But ultimately, it's better to have a bigger ambition because positivity drives progress. And sustainability has no end at the end of the day. So the question is, how well do you get? So even for entrepreneurs that Abdi was talking about, many times what we lack is not entrepreneurs that are convicted and passionate to change their enterprise. They're always looking for something. And the challenge you always see in sustainability is there's always many problems, many reasons, many excuses. And I must salute the board and the management of Safaricom for driving and remaining the course. This is how you bring in more partners in this engagement for sustainability for us. So we said two things for the youth. And actually our youth in Kenya are quite strange. They are more convicted about change and impact than anyone else in the world. Than anyone else. So generally it is more about my older generation that is now having problems. If you think about our youth everywhere, the sway for positivity, for change, and obviously Safaricom is the best to say a lot of your clients that you have, majority of them are young people in our country and across the region. So as a Pan-African bank, what I would say for us, we believe the interconnectedness that comes. Our young people can be able to have opportunities today to have new markets, new opportunities across many of our continents, new connections. That's how you do trade. That's how you raise positivity. It creates value. And so, Yvonne, that's one way of building it. And the more you create capabilities, the more you build sustainable enterprises. But you must have the vision and ambition. And this is very difficult. So the challenge is not always the large organizations. And obviously, it's not less for Peter because there's a snowball effect. Yeah. The way I see the change happening is not so many small steps. There is a catalytic point where there is an exponential point. So the more effort, like the bond or the kind of loan we have organized today, Yvonne, is about how do we bring in how many SMEs and how many young people get touched across the network for Safaricom ecosystem. They may be the largest on the country. So even what Abdi mentioned about this is already a solution for that in the market. Are they ready? Very few of them will be ready. And I think this is a bigger question across the continent. When you see all markets from Luanda to Deira to Lagos, this is always the problem we face. So finally, we choose that interconnectedness. They have positive sway. And then finally, if you look at the youth generally in our markets, technology is the only way to build a sustainable engagement and democratize access for value for everyone, especially this generation. So that's why we see that you co-create, you coexist. So we have the traditional bank that runs, but when I think about this decade, I think this is the decade when tech will levelize, democratize access to value for every single person on the continent. That's why we chose Stage to Change.
Can you have a round of applause for that? Because I think that's really important in terms of technology and democratizing access to funds. And Dilip, as we've got a few minutes left, and I'll come to your questions in a moment. So tell us about how you're leveraging technology to advance access, and how that is also being used to perhaps match needs to access for sustainable financing.
Yeah, so just before that, I wanted to say that I think there is a bit of a paradox here. Paradox in terms of you hear those billions and trillions of money available, yet the money is actually not available. If you are there in the UN, every single panel, I thought I am just in a CFO coalition, but the panel that everywhere I'm attending, it's talking about affordable finance for climate change. That's a big topic. So I think paradox is here. One, Safaricom, yes, catalyst, but will not be enough. So you need more of that, and how that will happen. I think I will just summarize the way. First of all, what we did for our sustainability linked loan, I think we moved away from a green bond, which is investment linked, to a more on performance driven, the KPI driven, because KPIs are much easier, that that you are focusing on that rather than saying, okay, I'm going to invest here. That KPI you may not achieve that KPI. So for us, I think important thing in the whole technology space was the digital inclusion, which is one of the 3 KPIs that we agreed. And for us, it's fundamental. It's what we are driving as a company in terms of the digital access to the mass, right? Which is now how that can happen. So you need to have more of smartphone, more of 4G devices. We have 2/3 of our phones are still 2G phones, right? Yes. So for us, we said that, okay, how can we drive that? So one of our KPIs is to make sure that in our network, the number of 2G devices go up. I think there are other areas that are important, and I think we can take that away. One, my friend Biju mentioned it, I think finance is not very innovative. And especially in the credit side, we still try to get, remain in that space. So I think in terms of product development, in terms of, and being more deliberate about taking a little bit of risk. I mean, for those of you who are here, I mean, we could have probably borrowed twice or thrice of that what we have borrowed, because all of them were willing to pay us more money. But the question is, will they do it for everyone else? Because one Safaricom cannot change the equation. So that's the third is the incentives. No matter what you say, incentives drives performance, incentive drives target, incentive drives those. So what are the incentives coming in the way? Sustainability linked loan has an embedded incentive, which is interest. As a CFO, I like it, because then I can say, we are going to be spending less on interest, but then we are focusing on the right thing, on the KPIs that you need to achieve. I think I will leave it there, saying how does the risk appetite, innovation, and making sure that it just doesn't remain only with the Safaricom one big size sustainability linked loan. It can be given to others as well, and we become the catalyst.
Yeah, indeed. Thanks for that. I want to get some questions, comments. I also have a few on menti.com, but I want to start in the room. Anyone in the room? Questions, comments? I can come down to you. Questions, comments? All right, let me go to Menti first while you get that. So it's menti.com. Here is a question. And this is an interesting one. We now have United Nations initiative called Football for the Goals, aiming to promote SDGs through football. How might we partner with organizations present here today? And I think you talked to this, Joshua, about the youth involvement in helping to realize the 2030 agenda within all the organizations present today. Perhaps the question can also be answered from the floor as well. I know there's quite a bit of work that's been done with Chapadimba, and in that respect. Anyone looking to answer that? We could, yes, go ahead, Paul. No, it's fine, it's on.
The typical Kenyan politician statement. I think, and you mentioned Chapadimba. I think just...
Okay, hang on a second. Let me get
you.
Can let me get you another mic. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that's better.
Yes.
You can imagine a mic that is not working plus my voice. Because, yeah, I think you started everyone by mentioning Chapadimba, but I just wanted to use KCB as an example. That you can actually use sports to make impact. Starting from yesterday, where KCB volleyball team was actually the national champions.
Yes.
As of yesterday, it's Africa champions.
Congratulations.
Its intention to all those players employed by KCB, they are paid the same day as KCB staff and facilitated fully in all those international competitions to represent the country. And I'll come and tie up the entire sports space for sustainability. I think the football team at the moment must be number 4 in the league. The rugby team is obviously the champions. There are some of you might support Cabras, I'm sorry. You know, the leading. Chess is actually the number 1 and represents Kenya across board. And therefore, it's institutionalized. But here is how I break down the impact. Most of these players are from the lower areas in this country. Whether you talk about Mathare, Huruma, Kibera. Other than just earning a living to keep the rest, you know, their families and relatives in place, the biggest impact is in, you know, to the kids that are growing in the areas in the lives of growing. I think we underestimate that impact, that they can wake up in the morning, have a place to apply their skills, different from those of us who put on our ties, put food on the table, and therefore provide that inspiration to the rest of the people. I think that is one reason why as corporates we must come to the table. The second one is how we build talent and position Kenya. Now, there's Talanta Hela. It's fantastic from a concept perspective. To make that realized, we have to come together as corporates, work with government of Kenya to help those kids from the lowest of the level to commercialize their skills. I think for me, that's how I see that space coming through.
Indeed. And some of the good work that's being done, like you say, in just providing livelihoods and dignified livelihoods, which is, you know, one of the many goals that we have set for ourselves. Yes, Peter, would you like to add something? It should be on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering. Is it working? Yeah.
Yes.
Just wanted to add to Paul's comment about the impact of sport. So Safaricom has been involved from the time when Safaricom was started. Just over 1.4 billion Kenya shillings since the beginning.
Sorry.
How close can the mic be to your mouth? So Safaricom has been involved with sports from the very beginning. 1.4 billion Kenya shillings spent. We go across all sports. But the biggest reason, and I just want to echo what Paul has said, is sports is the biggest passion point for Kenyans. In particular, football, because of the base it touches on, is so important. I know we paused because of COVID. You couldn't run contact sports. But going back and running Chapadimba and seeing some of those finals in both in Western but also in Nyanza recently, it's amazing the impact you create in terms of passion, in terms of discovering talent, in terms of showcasing, especially in the current world where youth are facing so many challenges and dilemmas. Actually occupying them, as Paul is saying, is so important. The second thing we've done is to overlay technology, to start saying we can actually put the same technology that is being used in the Premiership in the UK, especially at those finals piloting there, and actually we've started to discover talent. There's a lady who runs faster than your average man. So if there is if they are scouts from abroad, you can give them this data that says, you don't have to come and watch.
Yeah.
Here are the set of talent that we are discovering from all the work that we are doing. And there's about 40,000+ kids who are going to be, between 16 and 20, who are going to be involved with this. And if you think about 5 years later, we'll create a pipeline of talent in the same way that we have in athletics that can be showcased at a global level.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Peter. And those smart jerseys are apparently doing quite some things. It's able to, identify talent. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
For me, I think I might have to chew this as well. For me, it's about a greater purpose for an organization. And in the case of Safaricom, Safaricom has a very, very important place in the hearts and minds of Kenyans. So bringing back Chapadimba was, distributing hope. It was getting people to feel the love for us again. And in so doing, you give a lot of opportunity to many people about what they can do with themselves. Hope is a very, very, very important thing. And many times we don't really look at it from a business strategic point of view. But hope is so important to uplifting people's lives, giving them purpose. So if it may be football with us, it may be netball, it may be another sport, it may be cricket. It's about us getting and reaching down to those below us and lifting them higher.
Indeed, thank you very much.
Yvonne, just allow me to make one comment
Mr.
on
Chairman.
this, Yvonne.
Yes.
Just bring it back into what Dilip asked.
Yeah.
We can learn a lot from sports on how enterprise can amend itself to be deliberate and intentional in terms of sustainable financing. I mean, those sports teams, those individuals, they come out from places with less capabilities, but they aim to win a league. They change their model. They wake up every morning. They're very deliberate. They believe it. And that's what change happens. So this gap, the financing gap, the model must reorganize itself. Otherwise, if the young person doesn't wake up to come and do the sport, he won't be champion.
That's right.
And that is the gap that we must feel, that intentionality and belief, or the ambition you said, is actually what drives everybody else towards the ambition for sustainability. That's how you get funding. What tends to happen generally is that the concern I get even in the summits, which I've raised a lot back, is no one wants to do the force, no one wants to do the action, no one has an ambition. Funds can't flow for no action. The same way the sports. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the sportsman coming in. And it's important to have that correlation, that snowball effect is what you need to interconnect funding.
Action and purpose. Yes. Let's have lady in the front row.
Good morning. My name is Susan Njoroge. My question's to you, Joshua. One of the biggest things I hear when it comes to sustainability is companies don't want to partner because of competition. Yeah, the creative license you would steal from each other, but you are here demonstrated as partners who've come together to put a loan together. We know partnership is important for sustainability. What would you say to not just the banking industry, but other captains of industry who can come together like you have, and that competition isn't an issue?
I think there's just two gaps, and good to see our leaders in the room with Judy and Habil from the industry, and also from the UN Global Compact. It's important that actually I don't believe that individually, Peter spoke about it, you can drive a business to create transformation and breakthrough alone. It's a lose-lose game. I think that's proven. What you like are leaders who are convicted about an ambition and vision. That's what lacks. And so when you look at this from the UN Global Compact or from the Kenya bankers, we do a lot of things very collaboratively. We don't believe that competition. There are areas we compete very viciously. But in the long run, the cooperations that we need to put together is what really matters. And seeing all of us here speaking together with Dilip and Peter just demonstrates. I don't know anyone else. So I think the small mind, if I use that, of fighting a lone ranger game is probably last century. So the challenge for the people out there, if the leaders and captains of industry are driving this positioning and making breakthrough, I don't know what other lessons you need to. This is an experience. And I push back very hard because I've seen we struggle getting members today. I think we have more than 2,500 members, if I'm not wrong, Judy, where we are. I'm not very sure on the UN Global Compact. I'm not sure how far we are. But that's really the challenge, I think, from what we see. But I think there are more members now. I think we have the biggest member organizations on the continent. Am I right? I think we are, as Kenya. as the Kenyan chapter. So that shows you about the probability. And Abdi, you sit on the board, so you actually know the details. Yeah. So that's what I will say for themselves. And easily then to bring in more allies from tech, from financiers, from partners, from government, from policy. That is the model for generations today. So I think the leaders are doing it. What I will say is that if you want to learn, this team is always available. Join the groups which are here. And maybe, Abdi, you can make a comment actually on the Global Compact.
Yeah, I think just to add a little bit there, I think from a banking sector perspective, that element of collaboration to the extent allowed is something that we've done quite well. And I think there is something to be said there in terms of how we do that right across the corporate world. But I think the Global Compact and the journey that Kenya is on, there is still a lot to be done. I think yesterday we had a discussion around how do we increase the membership, how do we get this across to more members, etc. But it's really been a very, very good journey. And I think the challenge for us is to say, yes, each individual entity has what it does within its company, but for us to really achieve that breakthrough transformation, it has to be collaborative, and it has to be done across industry and across, from a competitor perspective. So it's a really good point you make, and I hope a bunch of bankers sitting here talking about sustainability, talking about collaboration, does help move that story forward.
It absolutely does. I mean, I think just you all being here and taking part in the sustainability linked loan is example itself, and will then cascade, because people also want to emulate, and they act by seeing this happening. And so thank you, gentlemen, for your leadership in this, and we look forward to the impact that this sustainability linked loan will have on that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's please give them a warm round of applause as they take their seats. Thank you very much, gentlemen, once again for that. And it's an interesting moment. I mean, I think I've learned a lot from the conversation that we have had here. And maybe while we move to the next step, which is, by the way, just bear with us because the moment is coming in just a minute. But I'd like to hear some more thoughts. And Michael Mutiga, who's the Chief Business Development and Strategy Officer at Safaricom PLC. And maybe we can even give you the mic. You can sort of stand here with me as we prepare for the next stage. What were some of the key learnings for you? Can we have a mic for Michael for just a minute? I don't, would you want to stand on the podium? There's people who are, yes, here, please. I have had such key learning moments. I wonder what those have been for you.
No, thank you, Yvonne. And good morning, everybody. When we pitched the idea to our board, and it came from a challenge from our board in terms of what are we doing on sustainable financing. So we pitched to them a few months ago, Dilip and I, and came back with a structure of a sustainability-linked loan. And what I remember most about that time was we called up the banks. We called up Birju and KCB, Abdi, and Standard Bank and Stanbic. And the question they all came back with is, how much and when? And it was a very easy transaction to get done, because they were very clear that they understood our goals as Safaricom, they understood what we're trying to achieve, they understood our 15-year journey in terms of how we've been reporting our sustainability, and they were very keen to leverage their balance sheets to support sustainability as a fact of how funding will happen towards the future. So some of the things that came up for sure during the discussion a few moments ago was, Birju, your comment about the double bottom line is very true. As Safaricom, it's not just about the profitability, it's also about the impact and how we're transforming lives. Joshua spoke about, working collectively, that it's not a question of funding. We raised on this transaction $200 million equivalent, and frankly, the banks had offered us something close to 4 times that in just those 4 banks. And you're very right around it's not just about the funding. Paul spoke about what it means in terms of setting up a sustainable agenda, and we congratulate KCB in what you've done as being the leading local bank on sustainability finance. And Abdi, as ABSA, you're right, there's so much more we can do on SME and other forms of financing. And what we ask the banks to challenge us as Safaricom is where else can you leverage your balance sheets to support other sectors? There's a question about merchant finance. There's a question about our communities. There's device financing as we try to levelize, to use Joshua's words, democratize access. It means getting more Kenyans having smartphones. How do we actually fund that and make it possible for that to happen? It's been an interesting journey. As Dilip mentioned, it's holding ourselves accountable. It's about sustainability, accountability, and transparency. As part of this loan, we set out 3 very key measures: 1 on our emissions, 2 on our sustainability goals in terms of access, and 3 on governance and how we govern ourselves as Safaricom. And the measures will be in place not just for the 7 years of the loan, but much longer beyond that. So we thank the banks, we thank the panel, and we look forward to doing much more together. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Michael Mutiga is Chief Business Development and Strategy Officer here at Safaricom PLC. Thank you very much for that great summary. Ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about this sustainability-linked loan. We've also talked about the Sustainable Business Report, but what is in it? This is the moment for us to all interact with that. Now, to get a very clear understanding of that, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we've been waiting for. Please put your hands together for Ms. Karen Bassier. She's the Director, Sustainable Business, Social Impact and Foundations, to the stage to take us through the 2023 Sustainable Business Report.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to present the 2023 Sustainable Business Report. As my slides come up, I just want to say how proud I am of the achievements we've made in this past year.
Slides?
Yes, Zuri.
Sorry to interrupt you, Karen. However, we did say our theme for today is Pathway to a Purpose-Led Technology Company. I was hoping we'd see something more digital first from you in your presentation this year.
Zuri, we have worked hard on these slides, and I promise you they are quite beautiful. The team has put in so much effort to deliver these slides. But since I'm also a fast and agile learner, I'm willing to have a rethink about how we can truly immerse the audience into this report. So let me come find you back there. Thank you, Zuri.
All right, well, that's where I can help. As you know, as an AI-powered smart assistant, digital is my world. Take a step back and allow me to truly visualize and digitize your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, Safaricom's 2023 Sustainable Business Presentation.
Hello once again, everyone. My name is Karen Bassier, Director Sustainable Business, Social Impact and the Foundations at Safaricom. I've taken Zuri's challenge head on, and I'm here to truly immerse you into our 2023 Sustainable Business Report. As we evolve Safaricom into a purpose-led technology company, this is not just a report, it's a story of transformation, purpose, and a truly sustainable business. This report is our roadmap and compass guiding us along this extraordinary path. Our presentation will delve into key material topics, including governance, business ethics and risk, the regulatory environment, our digital platforms, our environmental stewardship, innovation and partnerships. Then we look at the customer and our employees. We have witnessed firsthand the transformative power of leveraging technology to change lives, create shared value, drive positive change, and develop solutions that address societal challenges at scale. Together with our various partners, we continue to invent and create unique opportunities through our products, services, and solutions to improve people's quality of life and to contribute to sustainable livelihoods across the country. To this end, the total value we created for Kenyan society in the year under review was 909.5 billion. This is approximately 15 times greater than the financial profit we made during the year. We sustained over 674 direct and indirect jobs during the year, and if you look at this for the wider effect on the economy, this number increases to 1.2 million. But it's not just about numbers and graphs. It's about the stories of the lives we touch and the world we are shaping. Our journey for a more sustainable future is as unique as it's intentional. It's about our purpose, our people, and planet before profits. On to our first material matter: governance, business ethics, and risk. I will start off with the governance, the bedrock of our sustainability journey. Let me tell you a story that goes beyond statistics. Our board diversity, where 55% are male, 45% are female. Some of them in this room today are a testament to our commitment to a tapestry of inclusivity. This has meant we have a wide range of perspectives, experiences, and skills in the decision-making process, leading to better business outcomes. I think at some point, Obama said that you cannot play with half the team. So we are working with a full team of 50-50. But it's not just about diversity in terms of gender, but also experiences, skills, networks, and backgrounds. To build the capacity of the board, the directors underwent intensive training on anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing, vital in their oversight and fiduciary role. In the reporting year, the board agreed to constitute an Environment, Social and Governance Committee to oversee ESG in Safaricom. This is a first and an exciting step that the board has taken. As part of our unwavering commitment to ethical business, Safaricom entered several collaborations with financial institutions, telcos, and system integrators to co-create fraud management controls and reduction initiatives. We upgraded to a robust revenue assurance process. Transparency and accountability, these are not just words. We've made them a reality. Your data, your privacy matters. We've introduced security, safety, and privacy by design in all our products, innovations, and systems development. On to the next material matter: regulatory environment. Our industry operates in a highly regulated landscape. In the reporting year, we managed to attain 95% quality of service assessment, surpassing the regulatory measure of 80%. This is a measure of the quality of service and a reflection of our commitment to delivering top-notch services to you, our customers. We also progressed our Universal Service Fund commitments to bridge the digital connectivity divide, with 43 locations and over 200,000 people connected in Phase 1 and 33 locations with over 90,000 people connected in Phase 2. On to our digital platforms. Our digital platforms are where the magic happens. They are more than just tools, they are pathways to changing lives. For instance, in DigiFarm, over 1.6 million farmers are signed up, with more than 10% of them actively engaged. Now, the Hustler Fund, with 16 million subscribers, has seen Kenya shillings 24 billion disbursed. This is not just financial support, it is economic empowerment. And our 5G network, constantly evolving with 2 or 5 new sites in the reporting year. It's not just connectivity, it's about ensuring we leave no one behind. We run the world's largest mobile payment system and Africa's largest fintech, M-Pesa, the world's first mobile money transfer system. By empowering over 30 million customers to transact, save or borrow money through their mobile phone, by 2021, M-Pesa had driven financial inclusion in Kenya to 83.7% of the adult population. This was from a low of 26.7% in the year 2006. M-Pesa generated over Kenya shillings 117.2 billion in revenue as at end of the FY 2023. Moving on to environmental stewardship. Environmental stewardship, it's not just a duty, it is our commitment to sustainability. I will share some quick numbers here. In this reporting period, we recorded a 3.6% drop in our carbon footprint, a U-turn from the past. How did we do it? solar power in 1,432 BTS sites, and energy efficiency measures resulting in over 370 tons of CO2 equivalent avoided. Underwater management, a 9.9% reduction in consumption due to better water management measures in our facilities and offices. Waste management, 45.9% recycled, 49.4% composted. Unfortunately, approximately 4% of our waste is still taken to the dump site due to the nature of the waste. At the end of the reporting period, we had managed to grow 1.3 million trees in partnership with the Kenya Forest Services and the community forest associations. These trees, in addition to helping Safaricom offset its carbon footprint, will also have an added benefit to the community by supporting livelihoods through practices such as tree nurseries and beekeeping, impacting 2,000 directly and 10,000 indirectly. In the overall big picture, these trees will be part of Kenya's forest cover, improving the forest cover and the presidential directive. All these initiatives are part of our pathway to be a net zero carbon emitting farm by 2050 and a net positive farm 2050 and beyond. On to the next material matter, innovation and partnerships. Innovation, it's our engine for sustainable growth. But it's not just about technology, it's about people. I will spotlight a few of these initiatives. Initiative number 1, Zeraki Learning, an affordable education service for secondary school learners leveraging informative video sessions from well-trained teachers. The service has had 352,925 downloads in the reporting period. In agriculture, we supported the government rollout the revolutionary fertilizer e-subsidy program to over 3.2 million farmers across the country. Then My County app. This helps to digitize government operations in one place, providing single citizen access channel. The platform includes payment for county services, revenue management systems, citizen reporting and engagement tool, and solutions around agriculture, health, utility bills, and SME program. My County app is now accessible in over 11 counties. Look at your county on My County app and interact with your governor and the leadership in the county. Another great innovation, M-Pesa Go. M-Pesa Go aims to give parents more control over their children's use of mobile money wallet. By year end, we had onboarded 2.9 million children accounts. I love M-Pesa Go because it trains the children a culture of money using and money saving and money spending. In partnership with MGAS, Safaricom has developed pay-as-you-go energy solution that enables Kenyans to access clean, affordable, and reliable gas. This innovation has enabled over 360,000 Kenyan households to purchase gas through a smart meter leveraging Safaricom's connectivity. Innovate or die. Customers and employees. Our customers and employees are at the heart of our success story. In the reporting period, we expanded our product and service offerings through lower entry price points designed to create affordability in a tough economic environment and provide content and family plans in response to the needs of our customers. This led to a growth of over 800,000 in our total customer base and a growth of 17.9% in fiber-to-home customers, with over 275,000 homes and over 20,000 businesses connected to the fiber optic network. We will continue to address the issues for our customers by enhancing the value given through our products and services. On to our employees. Employee diversity continues to feature prominently in Safaricom, with our women in senior leadership numbers growing to 40%, a first in Safaricom, and 3% of persons with disabilities. Looking at the 40%, we intend to grow this number to 50% by 2025, and looking at the disabilities, we intend to grow this number to 5%. As we launch this report today, remember, it's not just about facts and figures. It's about building a more sustainable future as a pathway to a purpose-led technology company. Thank you for being part of this incredible journey. It's been an amazing journey over many years and different seasons. As the African proverb goes, when roots are deep, there's no need to fear the wind. We are here for the long term. You can read more about this report here. We are looking forward to engaging with you on social media via our hashtag Sustainable Safaricom. As we conclude, we leave you with a snapshot of our ESG achievements. Zuri, back to you. Hope I did you justice and I took your challenge. Thank you very much.
You did a great job, Karen, but you did forget to thank the people who put this report together.
Thank you for the challenge, Zuri. I know I did you well, and I know I have immersed everyone into the sustainability report. And yes, Peter, I did it in less time than you expected. Allow me at this point to recognize the incredible team behind this work. Agnes, Eve, Simon, and the 65 champions and data owners across the business that support this. We had many squad meetings to deliver this. Please stand up for a round of applause. Thank you so much for the immense contribution. I'd also like to thank the board, led by our chairman, Adil. Thank you so much for your insights and support as we went along in this journey. And our CEO and the entire EXCO team. Thank you, Steve, for taking time to read the whole report back to back and sitting down to help us shape the future we want. Thank you, everyone, for your support. We greatly appreciate this. Asanteni.
Another warm round of applause for that. What an amazing presentation, and being done in a truly digital-first format. And as I had promised before, I'm losing paper. I really am. But look, the idea that this is presented in a truly digital format means it can reach many, many more people. And of course, it also helps towards reducing the number of physical copies that we need to distribute to get the message out for Safaricom's 2023 Sustainable Business Report. So, ladies and gentlemen, now you've gotten into it. What's a launch? What's a report without a launch, huh? Yeah, it's about time to have a good time, all right? So, ladies and gentlemen, the video you're about to watch emphasizes everything Karen, the team at the board, and the senior management have been putting together. I would now like to reveal the 2023 Sustainable Business Report. That moment you've all been waiting for, and it's all about that pathway to a purpose-led technology company. Well done. For those of you who are asking, this hashtag is Sustainable Safaricom. Let's give Safaricom another warm round of applause for this great moment. that we have here. And like we always do at an event like this one, it won't mean anything if we didn't take pictures, right? How will they know you were here? How will they know you witnessed this great moment? So as we do that, I'd like perhaps Zuri to help us. Zuri, this is a great moment, hasn't it been?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, what an inspiring journey Safaricom is on. Now, it's time for a special moment. We invite our esteemed keynote speakers to join us for a memorable photo moment.
Thank you, Zuri. I'd like to call up the first set of photos. Chairman Adil Hawaja, would you please join us? CEO Peter Ndegwa and Dr. Sheila Ochukboju, our chief guest for us here. You could get up on stage and perhaps stand next to those boards and we can take a photo. Make sure we get the moment right. The 12th Safaricom Sustainable Business Report, launched here today, a purpose-led technology company by 2025. That is the goal. Remember this moment, and perhaps you can say purpose. Great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you will indulge us. You will be in every photo. This is your moment. So I beg your indulgence on this one. I'd like to ask the following to join those up on stage: Birju Sangrajka, Paul Russo, Joshua Oigara, and Abdi Mohammed. Please join us up here and let's also take this photo together. And we can make some room for each other. In the center, somewhere in the middle. In your vibrant outfit. Mr. Mohammed, yes, can you move to that side? There we go. No. Okay, so this is a wonderful moment. This is the only printout we have. Say purpose. Super. That works. We just want to be sure we get the best shot of you. And make sure you're all looking good. All right, super. I'd like to ask the bank CEOs to please take your seats. Thank you for joining us. And now joining Peter, Dr. Ochukboju, I want to be sure, I can't say that really fast, and Mr. Chairman, please stay on stage. Let me now ask Stephen Kiptines and of course Karen, who leads the sustainability team here at Safaricom, to join on stage. Peter, could you move a little closer? Yeah. You know, in the era of social media and where these things go, we want to be sure the photo looks just right. I mean, before that, for those who remember, it was we would go to a studio somewhere in town and get that done, and they would set you up, and there was a whole setup around it. So if you're old as me or older, then you will bear with us and remember this moment. Sorry guys, we'll be sure we get this right. I think we've got the 2023 Sustainable Business Report. We want to be sure we get that. Yes, that's much better. Then we just have that on the side, it's fine. We can just take that middle one out there. Look at that. You all look so beautiful. Congratulations. Well done. So there'll be a few photos. Today you'll bear with me. I'd like to ask members of 𝐏𝐶𝐃 who are present. Members of 𝐏𝐶𝐃, Safaricom, please. Get in here. You've all done amazing work for this year. Okay, so this is some work that's been well done. Yes, just hang on a moment. I think we can take that away. We've got enough, right? Okay, yeah, if we can have them by the side of the stage. We want to be sure we see all of you. And remember this day with the good work you've all done in the last year. Congratulations on 12 years. Here's to another 12 times 12 times 12. And we look forward to being here in 2025 when you will be a purpose-led technology company in full. I would like to ask the members of the 𝐏𝐶𝐃 to please take their seats and then ask the board members who are here. Board members? Wow, Peter, Sheila and Adil, thank you so much. You've been really patient. Yes, yes. And just in case you're wondering, when we say Safaricom is incorporating women at all levels, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at the board representation of Safaricom PLC. Yes, let's have the ladies in the middle. Well done. Yes, 45%, that's right, of the board leadership comprising women. Thank you for your leadership of Safaricom. Thank you for your leadership of sustainability. Look forward, say smile and say purpose. So may I please request the members of the board to take their seats, except for you, Mr. Chairman. Please remain. We will also ask our chief guest to please take your seat. This is now, not that any of the other moments haven't been special, but this is particularly special as well. Can we have the sustainability champions for Safaricom up on stage? You know yourselves. Yes. This is your moment for all the hard work you've done. Sustainability isn't just a nice to have. It isn't the thing that happens on the sidelines. At the end of the year, it is something that happens every day, all the time. It is a core of Safaricom's business practice value chain, also with stakeholders, suppliers, and everybody across the entire value chain. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the team that makes sustainability happen at Safaricom. Congratulations on the good job. Testament to your hard work. Sorry, you want to, and look again at the composition of women. It is women who are driving the future of this country and the world. And the future of sustainability. And the men too. So well done. I think we've got the shot. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. You may all now take your seats. Let's give the entire team another warm round of applause here this morning. And as they take their seats now, I would like to call up on stage the Chief Corporate Affairs Officer of Safaricom PLC, Mr. Stephen Kiptines, to wrap this up and give the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Yvonne, and I hope Zuri doesn't give me any grief and ask me to go backstage. What an event, what a day, what an opportunity. It's a privilege to be here and to have had all of you to come celebrate with us. The wins, some losses, but really that we are powering on ahead as Safaricom to make sure that we become that purpose-led technology company in 2025. But the journey of sustainability doesn't stop. Before I just sort of read my very short remarks, just a couple of highlights from what came through in the panel. Something amazing that our chief guest, Dr. 𝐏𝐶𝐑 said, that the gap between the innovative idea and where it becomes mass majority with wide utility is really where it's at, and it needs vision, it needs courage, and that's a courage that Safaricom is taking out there. When the SecGen of the UN said that we need a global rescue plan, well, we at Safaricom have put up our hands. We're saying we are going to be part of that rescue plan in our own small way. We've taken 9 SDGs, the ones that are most relevant to us as a business, and we are not going to wait for the 15% to become 18 and to see whether we get to 2030. We have determined that out of the 9 SDGs that we've identified, we want to take those to fruition by that period of 2030. And so Safaricom is putting its money where its mouth is. Something else that came through in the panel was not to worry about the money availability. And I like that the message is really to SMEs, MSMEs. And what we do as Safaricom as part of our purpose journey is we do support our MSMEs, our women-led businesses, PWD businesses to identify financing opportunities so that they can scale and grow their businesses. Obviously, if the financing can come through sustainability financing, the better. But it's also about us as Safaricom saying, we want to give a leg up, a hand to our partners to make sure that they can come with us on this journey. It also explains why we've taken the risk to start on the Scope 3 emissions, because it's part of trying to help them to grow that we will fulfill the Scope 3 emissions that we have set out to do. Interesting about the comment by Paul about youth are the transformation. That's where the culture change will happen. And it's very interesting because it means, all of us old geezers here are not really about transformation. We're just talking. But I suppose what we need to do is take that leadership and show that we want to encourage those new employees who come out, those coming out of colleges, those joining our businesses, to ensure that they have a platform on which to deliver, because sustainability it's our lifetime. We have to leave our planet much better than we found it. Now, the final comment is, we did have a panel which probably wasn't very gender sensitive, and we started by showing you our board, just to set things straight. But perhaps on a more serious note, it's probably indicative of why we still have a lot more work to do as a corporate, because it's just indicative of how far off we still are. So we can't celebrate too much. We still have, as a collective, a lot of work to do. So I do want to thank the gentleman who came up. I mean, your comments were absolutely out there, but none of you could speak as a lady. So I think that was the only lack. So, we do apologize that, we didn't get out there in terms of gender diversity, but we're working towards that and through that. So as we come to the close of this very momentous event, our 12th launch of the Sustainable Report, it's a pleasure and a privilege to have all of you here at Safaricom. It underscores your interest in supporting us and taking this journey back to your institutions. We do hope that in some small way you are inspired we do hope that even those watching, for those SMEs that are out there, this is not something that you see that is way too far out there. It's something that you can reach out and grab. And as Safaricom, specifically for our SME partners, we are happy to have one-on-one engagements to just guide you and help you grow. This launch has been a testament to our unwavering dedication to transparency, to accountability, to progress. I like saying it's about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Not everything has been done as it should have. Not everything that we set out to do has been achieved, but we're not backing down. We're putting our hand to the tail and continuing to power away. We've discussed our challenges, our priorities, the transformative opportunities that lie ahead, and I'll encourage you to read the report. It's very, very inspiring, but at the same time, it'll give you pointers to some of the things that we still have a long journey ahead to go as a country, as a community. This report underscores our resolve to leverage technology for meaningful transformation. It reflects the dedication of the entire sustainability team, our management team, our board, and for us as a leader in the community. Our journey towards sustainability is not about just achieving targets. It's not about numbers, but about leaving a legacy of responsible corporate citizenship, environmental stewardship, and societal betterment. This is exactly who we are as Safaricom. It's ingrained in our DNA, and that's what we're most proud of. It's about ensuring that future generations inherit a world that's healthier, that's better, that's filled with much greater opportunities. We are living through the El Niño cycle all over again, which really speaks to the challenges that still exist and the work that remains to be done. What does the future of sustainable business look like? Well, this is what we think. Sustainable business leadership will be defined by how well companies identify and deal with three critical issues. One is climate resilience, where companies need to build up their resilience in the context of climate change. I just mentioned El Niño. What are we doing to ensure that within what we're living through, we are putting back into the environment, into Mother Earth, what we have taken out? It speaks to the water scarcity. We still have a drought in parts of our country. It's getting a bit better. Things that will affect our operations. So we have to look into our supply chains, look into our infrastructure, look into where we need to operate and invest. Safaricom is showing the way that it's not just about doing it as a corporate social investment, but taking your CapEx, taking that financing and putting it into sustainability. The second thing is technology, human rights, and ethics. As a company, we have purpose to develop human rights policies and practices to address those big, hairy, ethical questions. The application of new technologies around personal data, artificial intelligence, machine learning, augmented reality, hey Zuri, and other technologies. The third thing is inclusive automation, where companies need to look at government intervention, greater gender equity, the demand and availability of skills, and demand for more equitable growth. And equitability is a really, really big deal. These three shifts, will be evidenced in the reinvention of sustainability and how we respond to the needs of this new reality. So hopefully in the future, we would have achieved a much greater equity at the top level, where the panel we had today will be at a minimum be 50-50, gender represented. And I'd like to invite you to, therefore, go into the details of our sustainable report, look at it into detail, look at what we have said and the strides that we have made and the profound impact that we are living. It embodies our promise to be a force for good, not just in Kenya, but in the broader global community. As I close, I wish to extend my heartfelt thanks to our dedicated partners, to our financiers. Thank you for giving us this platform, to our stakeholders, to the entire Safaricom family, to the board of directors. Let's forge ahead, united in our purpose and to continue to positively impact the world. Please network, exchange cards, be inspired, and have a sustainable day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stephen Kiptines, for that. It has been my distinct honor to work on this event with none other than Zuri. Zuri, are you there?
Yes, I am.
You're still here with us. That's
Yes, I
super.
am.
Look, it's been great interacting with you today. How can we and everybody else do that, and where can we find you?
You can find me on WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook Messenger, on web. You can access me on the M-Pesa app, or you can save this mobile number 0722 000 100. On your contacts, open chat and type, "Hi Zuri." That's it, Yvonne.
I'm sure we'll all be doing that for sure, and getting in touch with you. It's been so good to finally experience you. I think for many of us, this is the closest we'll probably ever get to you, Zuri. So thank you very much for that. And we invite all of you to continue the conversation. The hashtag we're using is Sustainable Safaricom. You can do that online. Continue to do that. Tell us what drives your purpose. You know, what purpose is driving you and your organizations and your journey towards sustainability. We'd love to continue to hear from you on that. And we also have a QR code, like we said, trying to minimize our impact. So this is how you can interact with us. Scan this code, and we will have your feedback in case you don't get it here, not to worry. Even outside, on your way out, we have that for you, and you can get that as you collect your gifts on your way out. So scan that QR code, give us your feedback. The hashtag to use is Sustainable Safaricom. Thank you so much to all of you here in the room and those of you joining us online. May purpose drive you today and all the days of your life. Good day.